Liverpool to Portsmouth, yeah, that chorus got the crowd screaming.
Alright guys and gals, Random Audio Guy, and in this video we're going to, what the hell is that? I've seen more bugs down here than I fucking care to think about. Alright guys, Random Audio Guy coming at you with another video. What we have here is a very controversial subject, it seems to be, between the installers of the world. So everybody has a technique. There are really good techniques out there, and then there are techniques that make you stand out and above everybody else. The key to doing a proper audio installation is your connections. Like, you know, if you do bad connections, then, well, you did a bad install, period. So I want to start out with a few different types of what you'll see in the industry. You know, from the common, ooh, I'm just going to twist my wire together. You know, I'm guilty of this myself in the past. So you'll see people put that into their amplifiers a lot. The downside is when you smash that connection with a screw, you lose a lot of the connecting wires. You know, these are a lot of fine wires in here, so you're crushing it. So one of the best solutions for this that I found over the years is ferrules. They're simple. They're pretty, and it looks like this. It's just a little sleeve with an end on it, and so what you'll do is you take your wire and you slide this ferrule down onto it, but notice right there that goes up over, so you don't get the little frayed wires that you're used to seeing in installations. Now this does take a special set of tools, and I'll leave links in the description of where you can grab this off Amazon. The tool and the kit, very affordable product here, guys. So when you squeeze that together, it crushes square from all four sides. So I'm going to slide that ferrule into that, and you should see it up in there. I'm going to squeeze it, it's going to crush it, and then it kind of makes it square. So that's now on there pretty darn good. And you'll notice, so a lot of times when you get an amplifier installed, they have this pinch like this, but you'll see a little bit of wire sticking out when you do this. You don't get that with the ferrule because that is up in that sleeve, and that protects that. Now to take this one step further, we'll grab a piece of magic stuff over here that you can't see off screen. And again, you know, every installer sets their standard. And every standard costs a new price range. So keep that in mind too, guys. Sometimes you get what you pay for. No, you usually always get what you pay for. Unless you just find one of those old installers that will work for food, like me. So, the piece of heat shrink, I use 3M heat shrink, and you can slide that over your sleeve. You don't want to slide it back like that. That's a no-no. So, just slide it over your sleeve. You leave just enough tip there, so you want to color coordinate these. Set your standard. If you decide that blue is going to be your negative, or green, or red, or pink, it doesn't matter. Make that your negative on every installation. So what we do is we'll take a heat gun. We'll let it get the temperature first. Now you have a primo connection. It just makes for a nice clean amp insert, like so. You can also, for you audio shop guys, if you're just going over a video, like, hey guys, check this out, it's a quick way to do something. You can get this heat shrink with your name printed on for your shop, and it makes an awesome product. You know, every installation has your name on it. For some of you guys, that's a bad thing. But for you good installers out there, you know what I'm saying, get your name on that stuff. So this is going to make for a normal connection. Hey, I'm doing this outside in my backyard, in my garage. If you go to a shop, you pay, you get this type of connection, you might want to talk to them. Sometimes it's the better connection for the situation. So what I would ask that they do is that they solder and tin this wire so it's stiff. It takes care of the crushing effect. So guys, that is your alright, so guys, that is a ferrule connection. It is that simple. Great connection, solid. I can tug on it. It ain't going nowhere. Check it out. All right, so the nice thing about ferrules is that they do come in bigger sizes. I've got these the size of, well, let's not talk about that. But I have really large ones. This is a 4-gauge one here, though. So typically if you got bubbled up wire, I kept this like this for a reason, because we'll see wires twisted up like this. Then we have wires that are fresh. Typically when you're working with ferrules, you're going to want a fresh wire, because sometimes you can get this over that, like so, but sometimes it won't. You want to make sure, and push that, push that down on there. I don't use a crimping tool on anything 4-gauge or bigger, mainly because the amplifier will do it for me. So you slide that sleeve on there, again, because you've got that housing that far back in there, you don't get the frayed wires that you're used to seeing when you install an amp and you bend the wire like that. So because the wires or the sleeve is up in there like that, you got really good protection. As soon as you insert this into your amplifier and crush it, there you go. It ain't going nowhere. So that's a ferrule on a 4-gauge connection. And it just goes from size to size. These are 8-gauge wires. Again, you just grab the appropriate ferrule. They have this assortment kit on Amazon. I think, don't quote me, 15 bucks or less. The tool, I think I get $28 for mine, but I'll leave links in the description. You guys check them out. Order you some. Please use ferrules. Care about your work, guys. It says a lot about you. So, let's go ahead and set up for that tinning of that wire too. I'd like to show you that. All right. So real quickly, I mentioned this, and I said, you know, don't leave it loose like that. Like that can fray up, and you know, it just looks terrible. So if you don't have nothing on hand, if you're doing this at your house, you should have a soldering gun or a heat gun. Those are pretty basic tools, I think, at least a soldering gun. You might not have a soldering station. This is my 1930s model, it seems like. She's been through hell and back. Got my new one on the way, but Old Faithful does do a good job for me. So I'm gonna heat that up, and I'm gonna show you guys how to correct a connection like that, and at least make it the best that you can with what you got to work with. And I understand some people don't have ferrules. Some people are just doing a small install and don't want to invest an extra $40 or $50 just to make that type of connection. So I can also understand that. So let's take the bare wire and make the best connection that we can. Try to have heat shrink on. You know, you can go to Amazon and buy you a cheap little kit of heat shrink. I'll leave links in the description, because I'm getting rich off that, apparently, everybody thinks. I'll link it down in the description, and you guys can buy your little kits of heat shrink for a reasonable price. I mean, it's not really that bad to buy this heat shrink, and it'll come in little 2-inch pieces in a nice little kit. So I'll leave you a link to that. So if you're doing this on your own, see, and I'm not up to temperature. I'm getting close though. The more she flexes, the closer I am to temperature. Solder gun lives matter too, guys. I need that. All right. Sorry, I was out of flux over here, and I had to steal some for Simon, so I stole a little capful. This is solder flux. I'm going to take that wire, and I'm just going to push it in there a few times, like Doug Bernard over there, and sound man for you guys that don't know. All right, now we've got that primed, lubed up, Doug, and we're going to take some solder. And the key, so what this does is this allows it to kind of flow like a liquid. So it's going to go down into those tight little spots that you can't really get the solder to flow into without tremendous amounts of heat. So we're going to come in here, we'll melt a little bit of solder on the tip. That's how your tip ends up like this. Don't normally do it like this, but you know, it's an old soldering gun, guys. And you'll see it bubbling. That means it's going down in there. It's starting to find its path and where it wants to flow. You get a nice 10 on the wire like that, and I will show you how that is very much like a ferrule, in a sense that it becomes a stiff connection. Yeah, he said stiff. All right, so from that, very much like a ferrule. We'll grab our heat shrink. We'll slide it down on there. Gotta use protection, guys. We'll come in, prime the heat gun. All right, once it's primed, make sure I'm getting that for you guys. You're gonna come down. You'll see it starting to shrink. This is a square wire, so. Now, this is a good plan for you guys that don't have the tools for this, and you're just doing one or two jobs. You know, you're showing that you're going to do the best with what you got. And this connection and this connection are very similar. We just have a sleeve there that makes the difference. So that's it, guys. How to make a proper amplifier connection, speaker wire or power wire. Hit us with a like if you enjoyed. Let us know in the comments if you got any questions or if there's something you want to see. I'm shooting a lot of videos to show you guys different things, and I've just been looking over the Quest, and I've also been looking at the jobs I see come in my shop, and some of them just remind me, you guys need some help out there. You need some basic videos that show how to do that. So, thanks again.